Okay. Friday, we were talking about, actually Thursday and Friday, about the sermon that's on this blog that you can read. So you can read the sermon and you'll understand most of it, but we want you to understand it better. So we're talking about the sermon taken from the text of Isaiah 63, 1 through 6, and verses 18 and 19. Now for this blog to, perhaps for you to get everything that we're saying in this blog, you may have to go back to an earlier, what would that be, an earlier session on this blog. How many blogs do you know that has a new session every day? Well, we do, so we're having a good time. So here's a people that have been given land, and they had it a little while, they lost it. And now they're lamenting that they were God's people, and God rules over them, and God never ruled over the enemy that has defeated them and taken their city. And they're saying, God's people are saying, well, those people were never called by your name, and yet the implication is they're ruling our land. We're under subjection to them. So in this, there's a much bigger story. The bigger story is this just isn't talking about the nation of Israel. The Bible has an overarching story. There's multi-levels to a prophecy and to Scripture. This is why we want to talk about this other than just read the story and assume that everybody understands it. This story is talking not only about Israel, it's talking about God's people, and even in a broader sense, it's talking about the whole human race. And the whole human race was given through Adam and Eve, the earth, to live on and to have dominion over. You remember the scripture, you can go back and read it. In Genesis chapter 2, God gave them dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air. We have dominion, the air, the fish of the sea, the animals on the land, the fowls of the air indicating atmosphere. We even are meant to have control over the atmosphere or the environment that we live in. Even our personal atmosphere of our moods. So let me ask you today on this Monday, how controlled are you by exterior forces that are dominating your mood this morning? Dominating your mood this morning and making you miserable. How much control do you have over your consciousness? Well, I want to tell you, you can control your consciousness. You don't have to have a miserable consciousness moping around every day or most of your life because of the challenges. That's what we're talking about here. We do have a good time, but I'm dead serious right now. You don't have to live that way. God didn't intend for you to live that way. And this sermon, among other things on this blog, is going to help you not to live that way, okay? So, welcome. If this is your first time, we're really, really, really glad you're with us. And we're talking about this sermon based in Isaiah chapter 63, verses 1 through 6, and verses 18 and 19. So, now, when we talk about this story, we see a fighting man. So what we want to look at is the fact he was fighting. We want to look at the story of who he was fighting. We want to look at the story of what he was fighting and why he was fighting. We want to look at the fight itself. We want to look at the winner of the fight. We want to look at how he won the fight, what sustained him. And we want to draw some conclusions from all of this. So this is what we're doing. Now, we've already seen that the watchman on the wall asked the question, and he asks it with a little fear. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. That's a watchman on the wall that sees this mysterious figure coming out of the fog in the early morning, and he's saying, who is this? Who are you? And then the figure responds. This story's not unlike the story when Joshua saw the captain of the host, the angelic captain of the host that he met. And Joshua asked him anxiously, carefully, are you for us or for our enemies? That's the same sense in which This watchman is asking, who are you that's approaching? And this sentry, the city watchman, peers out and sees this solitary and majestic figure coming towards him, whose garment is spattered with red, with crimson. And the fear of the watchman who is reporting is that this figure is coming from Edom, where he has executed judgment, but now is he coming to execute judgment on us? Thus the question, who is this that cometh from Edom with garments dyed crimson from Bozrah?